Welcome to Alternate Reality.
What's she been up to?
Still living in California.
Yeah.
We talk a lot more often now than we used to because we text each other all the time.
Technology has made that possible?
Technology has made that possible. Well, it becomes a timing because she lives on the West Coast. She's in a different time zone. And so it's like, okay, it's 2 hours. They're 2 hours behind us.
Yeah. So
right now it's 9:09 here. Right now here it's 7:29. So I mean, so when I get home from work, it's 11:30, 12 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock there. So if I feel like texting her, I do that. But yeah, we talk more now by texting than we did while she was just in California.
Mm-hmm.
Because
she's still in California.
She's still in California. She didn't know, she kind of knew my hours, and I had no idea what she was doing. So, but technology is a wonderful thing. You get to talk to people from everywhere. And my mom still hasn't understand the concept of calling me on my cell phone instead of calling me on my house phone. I never answer my house phone.
Yeah.
But she calls me on the house phone and leaves me a message. And I go, I never answer this phone. In fact, I'm sort of wondering why I still have it. Because I don't use it.
I still call you on your house phone occasionally, too.
Occasionally, too. Yeah, because you can't remember my cell phone number. That's
right, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, it's also not, you know what? It's not programmed into my cell phone because you never bothered to give it to me. I might have it, but I've never put it in there.
I called you. You hit.
Well, you call me all the time.
I call you and you hit save and you create a contact. It takes about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
but you're not very technologically advanced, apparently.
Well, yes, I am. It's just not with some things. Hey,
folks,
let me tell you.
You still don't have a smartphone.
Let me tell you something that is absolutely positively true about Comic Book Man. I don't text.
No.
I don't know how to text. I never have texted.
Even Machete learned how to text.
I have never texted. And you want to know the reason why?
What?
For one thing, it looks like it's way too damn much work, as opposed to talking on the phone, which is what the phone is made for. It's verbal communication.
It's actually not, because
it also seems like a vortex that you get sucked into, and once you're in it, you're stuck in it.
Well, the thing about most cell phones you text, okay, if I put in my first word, it knows what I've been typing in there before. So it's filling in what it thinks I'm going to want to say.
Yeah.
So it's easier to text. I mean, sometimes my boss has called me. My boss left to go to Texas for a week, and I'm on the way to work, and he goes, "Call me." Well, I'm on the train. I can't hear a damn thing you're saying, but I can text you.
Before people texted, they had pagers.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I work at a place where we still carry pagers, and I said this week with the pagers, because we were missing pagers, I'm like, what people using pagers are us and drug dealers. What the hell?
I have never in my life owned a pager. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, everybody had pagers.
Everyone
and then
had
the Bluetooth showed up.
Yeah.
And I always looked at pagers as being like a dog collar.
Yeah.
Okay. I know where you're at, and I can talk to you whenever I want to. And it's like, I don't want that in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want you to bother me. If you want to call me, that's one thing.
Call me. Yeah.
But I do not want to be at the end of a leash.
Yeah.
Call me now.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I carry a pager.
So if you don't have a pager, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I carry a pager at work, but you know what? Before I leave for work, I put the pager in my belt. As soon as I get home, I take the pager off. And if I'm not working and the pager goes off, I just ignore it. Yeah. I'm not at work. Leave me alone.
Okay. As advertised, today's show is going to be news and reviews on media. This is the beginning of October. We're going to talk about the new fall season. We're going to talk about the Justice League trailer that just dropped. The final Justice League trailer that just dropped.
Well, the movie opens in November. It's a trailer after this. This must be a serious problem.
No, I don't think there'll be another trailer.
No, this is it. This is it. And they made it a point.
And we're going to talk about other things in general. This is Comic Book Man, and I'm being joined once again today by my good pal.
How you doing, Bo?
Being joined by Bocepheus.
Don't tell my dad.
I'm going to get this in early this time. The Alternate Reality, the podcast you're listening to, is coming to you from Alternate Reality, the best little comic book store in the world. It's located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie.
The world? Wait a minute. What about the store in France?
In beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. We don't care about France and Mount Greenwood. We care about Mount Greenwood.
Yeah, but they serve wine. They serve wine when you buy comics.
Well, I'll wine if you come.
And cheese.
111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all of your comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. New Comic Wednesday starts at 7 a.m. I swear to God, it starts at 7 a.m. I am there. We've been doing it for almost a
God
decade.
bless you people who are crazy enough to get up at 6:30 in the morning to go to comic.
Crazy / smart enough to show up at 7 o'clock.
I don't want stuff to sell out because I'm too. I don't want a subscription. I don't want stuff to sell out. I want to be able to pick through the stuff. But 7 in the morning, I don't wake up at 7.
Well, if you're out and about at 7 in the morning, going to school, going to work, coming from work, okay, I am there with new comics, and they are up, and they are ready to go, and they are all 15% off. All you got to do is show up.
Yeah, sure.
We've been there since 1994, 23 years of altering your reality. Anyway, there's lots of things we can start off with. I want to start off with the Justice League trailer. It just dropped today, our time.
New York Con. Warner Brothers had a big thing at the New York Con the last day. They showed a bunch of Warner's trailers. That was in, and they made it a point to let everyone know we're going to be showing the final Justice League trailer here at the con. Which, you go, I need to be there. No, you don't. You need to have a phone with YouTube on it. You can watch it whenever you want.
I'm sure everybody knows by now that Zack Snyder had to leave the editing of the movie because of a tragedy in his family. Yeah. Josh Whedon took over the directing, and the big story has always been all along, how much is Josh changing? How much can he change? Josh also did some reshoots.
He did
along the way. I'm sure it wasn't a ton of reshoots. Well, no, he did. Some.
When they first announced the reshoots, it was supposed to be a big deal. Then they said no, it wasn't a big deal because it's been Affleck made it quite clear. Every movie goes through reshoots before it comes out. This isn't anything unusual.
Yeah, but Joss Whedon did them Whedon
did them as opposed to Snyder. But most of the film that you're going to see, as they've made quite clear, is going to be the Zack Snyder version.
Right.
Now, Joss Whedon will introduce...
But he's also editing it.
He's also editing it. So they said, I think...
and you can do lots of things in editing with tone.
Yeah. They say the entire character arc and tone with Cyborg has been flipped because Whedon basically changed some things. And apparently Whedon, all the stuff you see on the trailer with the Flash, a lot of that stuff came from Whedon.
Yeah.
The jokey stuff, the fact that he's kind of a geek.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody has seen the trailer by now, and of course the big joke in the trailer is
the second joke. Yeah,
Bruce Wayne. Well, in this trailer, Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen and Diana are on the ground. They look up at the sky. There's a bat signal.
Flash goes, "Wow, that's cool." It's Batman, Bruce Wayne, and he goes, "Yeah, that's how you find it." He goes, "Yeah, that's how."
He goes, "Now's the time when you turn into Batman." Yeah. And then he stops his he goes, "Oh, I'm not supposed to say that, am I?"
Yeah. And then Affleck goes, "Yeah, that's how they find me." He gives one over to look like, why am I with this idiot?
Which sounds exactly like something Joss Whedon would do, and absolutely nothing like Zack Snyder would have done.
He lightened the tone. Yeah, well, Whedon came in and he lightened the tone.
Yeah.
Because Whedon knows how to do humor stuff. He lightened the tone.
Yeah.
But when you see and he's not getting a co-director's credit. He's getting a co-writer's credit.
Yeah.
Because the Directors Guild said you can't get a co-director's credit. You only directed the film for like 3 weeks.
The closest analogy to think of to what's happening with that, and it's by no means a perfect analogy to it, is Dick Lester on Superman 2.
Yeah.
Donner had shot about 75% of 2 before he had to stop to finish up 1. Then the Salkinds fired him after the movie came out. Dick Lester was brought in to do the other 25%.
Well, Dick Lester was there as a supervisor.
Dick Lester was hired in order to
keep an eye on Donner.
No, to be the go-between between Donner and the Salkinds, because things had gotten to a point where neither one could talk to each other without killing the other one. So when Donner had something he had to tell the Salkinds, he would tell Lester, and Lester would go and tell the Salkinds. And then the reverse would happen. Yeah. The Salkinds would go, "You tell that son of a bitch."
Right. And then Lester would go, "This is what they said."
But that is the closest analogy I can think of to this. The main reason I bring it up is I've always felt that Superman 2 was a lesser film than Superman 1, primarily because of Dick Lester.
30% of it was basically done.
Dick Lester's not the guy who would have got to do that movie. And if you really want to know what Lester's Superman would be like, just watch Superman 3, because that is all Dick Lester. But I mention that because the movie is sort of schizophrenic in tone, at least as far as I'm concerned, as you watch the original Lester print, and I'm just wondering what this film, Justice League, is going to be like. But because you've got stuff that Whedon has shot, like probably this Flash footage we just talked about, and that's going to be lined up next to probably a lot of dour, grim stuff that Snyder's.
Although Snyder said that the film wasn't really that dark. He said it wasn't as dark as his other stuff.
Kicking it up for the third one, huh?
Well, yeah, it wasn't. He said the darkness quotient was a little lower, and you will not be getting a DVD Blu-ray director's cut because how could you? Snyder's not even. He has nothing to do with the
Well,
post-production.
I bet you that they'll be missing footage. Which
They'll
put in.
They'll be deleted scenes. I mean, you get the same thing with Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is 100 minutes, and the director Taika Waititi says, "Yeah, the DVD will have a whole bunch of stuff that we cut out, but the 100-minute long version, that's my film."
Yeah.
When people talk about Blade Runner 2049, they talk to Dennis Villeneuve. He says, "Is there going to be a director?" He says, "No. What you're seeing right now in theaters, that's the director's cut. There's nothing added to it.
Yeah.
There'll be some stuff that we cut out, but this is the only version I have." So,
Right. So, I mean, Justice League is coming. Yeah. It's obviously not here
November.
yet. I'm on
first weekend in November, I think.
No, it's later than that, isn't it? Isn't it second or third week?
The second week, Thor.
Well, when does Thor?
Thor comes out November.
Thor comes out before Justice League.
Yeah, Thor comes out November the 10th.
Yeah, so Thor first, then Justice League. Yeah. I think Justice League is closer to Thanksgiving.
It could be the 7th. It could be the 17th. It's probably the 17th.
I would imagine it would be just so they could capitalize on Thanksgiving holiday and picking up some money there.
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence about it. I'm going to wait till it comes out. I am one of those folks, I've said this before, that is not in the Zack Snyder camp. I don't have a lot of use for Man of Steel. I have even less use for Superman versus Batman. This is essentially a Zack Snyder production, but I'm hoping to God that, as far as I'm concerned, Josh Whedon can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear with this thing, which I have every confidence he can do if he has the right parts and is given enough freedom.
This entire thing, when he gets done with all the editing, all the post-production, it will be a seamless edit. And by the way, for all the people who are wondering who haven't seen the trailer, is Superman in it? Well, yes and no.
Well, Superman's in the very beginning of the trailer, sort of.
Superman's in the very beginning of the trailer, and
ripping off a scene from Superman the Motion Picture.
Yeah, and Superman the Motion Picture, and also Gladiator, because he's standing there holding, with his hands in the weeds, which is what Ridley Scott. And then there's also a scene later on, which
Superman the movie came out in '78. Gladiator came out when Superman the movie predates that a little bit.
Yeah, there's also a scene you see there's a bridge with the Superman logo on it, and we don't know how long the film is either. It could be 2 hours and 2.5 hours. We don't know.
Okay, staying with the DC universe, our time.
Yes.
The CW is about to explode back onto TV screens.
All the CW superhero stuff pops up this week.
Now, when you're listening to this, all this has happened already, but we're going to talk about it anyway. This Supergirl is on Monday nights, and it's going to start season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
Season 3, and some of the things that are supposed to happen this season, Bloodsport's going to show up,
and Morgan Edge.
Adrian
Passar, who goes from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to Supergirl. It's like he just keeps moving.
Went from Heroes to
Heroes,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And now he's a Supergirl. And we're assuming he's probably going to pop up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. So.
The producers tell us that we will discover Mon-El's fate this season, although he's not going to be a regular. And we will discover Mon-El's fate.
And there's been no information whether Superman is going to show up this season at all.
No, they haven't said that, but there was a story earlier, about 2 weeks ago, that said they're casting for Saturn Girl. Yeah. Which, of course, if they're casting for Saturn Girl...
Jeff Johns is a hard one for the Legion of Superheroes. He's trying to get a Legion of Superheroes show on.
Something with the Legion. Mon-El's gone, disappeared into a wormhole, and they're casting for Saturn Girl. So you don't need to connect a lot of dots there to figure out what that all means. Also, they're going to unveil a Supergirl statue in National City, where... looks like a huge silver monstrosity, which I think, if it's like every other CW statue they've done, is there to get blown up at some point.
Get blown up or attacked.
I'm sure it will be blown up at some point. I guess the basic story arc that they're working on this year, at least for the first part of the year, Kara wants to give up her Linda Danvers, Kara Danvers, whatever the hell it is. Earthling identity and be Supergirl 24/7.
Yeah, true confession, boys and girls. I've seen the first episode of season 1, season 2, and I haven't watched anything other than that.
I've watched all of season 1, all of season 2. It is a perennial favorite around the house here. With my daughter, she buys into all the feminist. Isn't it great to see a girl in that role?
Although I did buy
the soap operas.
I did buy the DVD collection of season 1, and I'll probably get the DVD collection of season 2. And I started season 2 on Netflix, and I may just run it off while I'm on vacation and watch the rest of it.
Anyways, Kara's going to be Supergirl 24/7, and of course it will cause great consternation to her family. And at some point, she will learn, as we've been down this road before.
Identity.
You need the secret identity because otherwise you'll go crazy. Blah, blah, blah.
Otherwise you'll be like, what the hell? It's like Peter Parker. I'm going to be Spider-Man all the time.
You can't be the
character all the time.
You can't be the hero 24/7. Flash season 4 is starting soon, like
Tuesday,
ASAP on Tuesdays. Flash is returning.
Yes.
That's big spoiler, folks.
Wow, he's coming out of the Speed Force.
Flash is returning.
What will be the after effects of him coming out of the Speed Force? Because a speedster has to be within the Speed Force.
Grant Gustin is coming back, but apparently he's not going to
remember
be
anything.
quite all. Well, he's not going to be
he's
the
not
same
going to be all
Barry.
there. Yeah, he's not going to be the same thing.
He's not.
Like, he doesn't remember any of like, who the hell are you people?
He's got a beard and a mustache, and he's going to get a new suit, which is going to be the same suit that they debuted last year.
Yeah.
The Future Flash suit, which is closer to the comic book version, but still not quite the comic book version. I'm hoping that we have at least one more upgrade in the costume.
I think well, maybe the following season. The costume he's wearing this season, the costume he's going to wear the whole thing.
Well,
you're also adding the Thinker is the big villain, the Elongated Man showing up.
Yeah,
Danny Trejo's playing Breacher.
The guy playing Elongated Man actually looks like Elongated Man. He's got the nose.
And Kara Thrace herself, Starbuck, is popping up as a villain there.
Tom Felton, who was on all last season, will be on this season, but not as a regular.
No, they haven't said that. They said he's not a regular.
He'll show up intermittently.
He may show up. They haven't made that quite clear. He may show up.
Oh, I think he's in the first episode.
He's probably in the first episode.
Or something, but he's not part of the regular cast. He's like Old Flash, John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah, the current incarnation, Tom Cavanaugh. Apparently, that character is going to go through some kind of sea change during the season.
Okay, that's Flash. Arrow starts season 6
Wednesday.
Oh God,
Thursday.
I can't believe.
No. Arrow's after Flash. Tuesday.
Okay. Arrow can't. If Arrow's after Flash, it's Wednesday. Supergirl's Mondays.
No, it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. There is no superhero show on Wednesday.
Okay, so Flash is on Tuesday.
Flash is on Tuesday.
And Arrow's on Thursday.
It could be on Thursday before DC Legends. Okay. Well, at least until Black Lightning shows up, because that show won't be debuting until mid-season.
Yeah, that's a mid-season replacement, I'm assuming, or it's going to take the place of something that's going to go on hiatus.
It's disappear for a little bit.
But Arrow is coming back on. It looks like Stephen Amell is going to be playing Daddy Arrow.
Yes.
To his young son, who were the only two that survived.
No.
Well, yeah, but apparently, we're the only two that survived last season in the boat.
We've already seen Diggle.
After they blew the hell out of the island.
Yeah, we've already seen Diggle in the trailers, and we already know the Black Canary's around, and we've also seen Renee.
You've seen a Black Canary.
No, we've seen the current Black Canary. Although you're also going to have
Black Siren.
No, the one who's wearing it right now, and you've got Black Siren. So you're going to have both versions. The evil version and the regular version.
Yeah.
They haven't really. The villain, I believe, is going to be his buddy Anatoly and Deathstroke. Deathstroke's in there, and his son's going to pop up this year also.
Deathstroke's?
Jericho's going to pop up this year.
Really?
As well.
Is he going to be a mute?
We don't know. He hasn't popped up yet. Well, and they're already planning the fall. By the way, people said Arrow's going to end. They're already planning next season, and there'll be flashbacks. If you thought the flashbacks are gone, they're not gone.
One of the things that I did notice so far is Deathstroke's not wearing his costume.
No.
Every shot they've shown so far is him in civilian clothes.
Yeah, but I think when they do the 4-episode crossover, he'll probably put his costume back on.
Yeah.
Mano Bennett's not going to be in every episode. He's going to be popping up every once in a while.
Okay. He'll be like Tom Felton.
He'll be like Tom Felton.
For Arrow. And then finally over at the CW we have Legends Season 3, where if you remember at the end of Season 2, they broke time.
Yeah, they screwed up time. So
they broke time.
So basically you're going to have Rip Hunter looking at them going, you broke time. Well, I created the Time Bureau, and you idiots need to stay out of it. And they're like, screw you. We're going to fix it because we broke it.
One of the people who are showing up like right away, who's probably happened already, and I don't know if he's just going to be in one episode or multiple episodes.
Not right away. I think he'll be popping up in the 4th or 5th episode. But
okay.
Matthew
Ryan.
John Constantine's going to show up.
Yeah, Matt Ryan, John Constantine.
He's
coming back,
yeah,
which is a great big applause for that.
Well, but the producers made it quite clear. They're like, we'd like for him to come back. We'd like for him to be involved.
Yeah.
You're also going to get another version of Vixen, and Billy Zane's going to be playing P.T. Barnum.
Really?
Yes, that's the character he's playing on the episode that he's going to be in. He's playing P.T. Barnum, like with episode 3.
Okay. Okay. You know what I'm hoping to see, since they've broken time, Commandy.
You're never going to see Commandy. Although you are going to see Commander Steel. You're going to see Commander Steel. You're going to see Steel in a superhero outfit, which looks kind of like the one he wears in the comics.
Commandy is quite easy to do. All the animals around Commandy, that's a whole other story.
Yeah,
Commandy though, is quite easy to do.
It's a blonde kid with no shirt and a loincloth. Yeah, it's real.
Well, no, short jeans.
Yeah.
Short ripped up jeans and a pair of booties.
Yeah, a pair of booties.
But I'm hoping that Command D shows up.
And you're also going to get Damien Dark. Damien Dark is going to be around.
Damien Dark, yeah.
Damien Dark's going to be, and also Captain Cold. I mean, Captain Cold's going to be popping up a lot.
Whatever happened? This is getting off the track a little bit. Whatever happened to the Prison Break remake? I thought one of the reasons he left the show was to do the Prison Break remake.
No, he did. No, he signed the deal if he could pop up on any of the shows. They did the Prison Break remake. It didn't go over quite well. It was actually a failure for Fox. And so, he's still under the contract to pop up on any CW show that he wants to. Yeah. And so he said, "Well, I can come back and do the show. I don't care."
You should come back to Legends. I mean, he was great on that first season.
He will be popping up on Legends every once in a while, and he'll be popping up either in front of the camera or behind the camera because Wentworth Miller actually, while Prison Break was going on, he became a writer.
Yeah.
So he wrote episodes.
Okay. That's it for the CW. But staying in the DC universe.
And don't forget Riverdale.
That's not the DC universe.
It's part of the.
Riverdale's got the Wednesday night slot, right?
Yeah, I think Riverdale's on Wednesday.
Well, supposedly
because it's not on Friday.
Supposedly, the big thing this year is going to be Sabrina's showing up at some point, and Sabrina's already scheduled to get her own series.
Sabrina's getting a spinoff, and Archie's long lost brother or something like that.
I assume Archie has a brother somewhere in the country.
And Riverdale was in the press for a couple weeks ago because AJ Appa, the guy who played Archie Andrews, after a long day of shooting, had a car accident.
Yeah.
So why? Because he's working too much.
Well, that was the thing. They had him working like 18-hour days.
Yeah, he's working a long day.
He wasn't. It wasn't that he was drunk, and it wasn't that he was doing.
No, he was tired.
He was just dead tired.
He was tired because they were doing daytime scenes and they were doing nighttime scenes because a lot of stuff in Riverdale takes place at night.
Yeah.
So he just got tired driving back from the set, and he had an accident. No, he wasn't seriously hurt, but he had an accident.
And remember, folks, if you're ever in Riverdale, be sure to stop off at the Pep Comic Shop.
Yes. And then go to Pops to get you some food.
To pick up all of your Red Circle comics, because I'm assuming that's all they sell in that universe.
See, because the thing about Riverdale was, I didn't watch Riverdale while it was on. I watched all those episodes on Netflix. The thing that was interesting about Riverdale was the fact that it was so ethnically balanced, and they didn't make a big deal about any of it. Yeah. Pop's a black guy. Well, when did that happen? In the show, he's a black guy. And the mayor is a black guy. Weatherby's like, oh, okay.
Well, my big problem with Riverdale had nothing whatsoever to do with that. It was the show. For me, I was taking the show seriously until about the 5th episode. And then it went totally off the rails with the dinner party over at the Blossoms house.
But that
Veronica's at when the family is basically just shitting on each other during dinner and crapping all over Veronica. And they're all sitting there like it's just a normal
That was
thing
a
to
normal
do. And nobody, including Veronica, is saying anything about it.
They're probably sitting there going,
and I'm looking at that and I go, okay, I'm not done with the series, but I'm done taking this show seriously.
Yeah. Well, Archie Comics, most kids were Archie Comics.
Archie Comics was a kid's
book. And then all of a sudden they brought in Robert Guaya-Sacasa, and he said, okay, let me update this and make it interesting. Yeah. Archie now is interesting. Archie then, they were filler comics.
But it was a kid's comic.
Yeah.
It was never meant to be any more than a kid's comic.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to be reading and enjoying Archie when you're 30. The same way, and there are adults who buy Archie, but you weren't supposed to be enjoying it in exactly the same way you did when you were 6.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're sitting there looking for continuity, and why don't these characters grow and progress and move on? That's not the point behind the strip.
It's America's oldest living teenager for a reason.
Yeah, that's not the point behind the strip. No, I stopped taking the storytelling seriously. It's still a hell of a show. Okay, I just look at it in a different light now than I did originally when I first signed on with it.
Well,
and like I said, stop at Pep Comics.
When they made the announcement it was going to be Archie by way of Twin Peaks, I was expecting it to be weird.
Well, I knew it was going to be weird, but I didn't think it was going to be irrationally weird. I didn't think it was going to be
the Blossoms.
We're all going to have dinner and we're all going to just air all of our dirty laundry in front of Veronica, and then we're going to air Veronica's dirty laundry in front of her, and she's going to sit there and go, pass the potatoes, please.
Well, the Blossoms by nature, even in the comics, were always just weird to begin with. So they just went with it.
Okay, that's the CW. Yeah. As I said before, staying within the DC universe, we have Gotham. This is Gotham. This is Gotham season 5?
Is it 5 or 4?
4. Okay. Gotham season 4. They moved the time slot to Thursday nights.
Thursday night.
It got slaughtered its first night. In the Thursday night time slot.
Yeah, well, the problem with the Thursday night time slot, you moved it from Monday to Thursday because you wanted gifted to be on Monday.
Yeah, well, the X-Men got its time slot.
Yeah, the X-Men.
Marvel pushed DC out.
Yeah. Marvel basically pushed them over there, said you're going to go over there. The problem with the Thursday time slot is you've got Thursday night football, so people are watching football, and you've also got the TGIT, the entire ABC. Thank God it's Tuesday thing, the Shonda Rhimes block. which is going to kill basically anything opposite it. They could have moved it to Friday, which would have been much worse. They moved it to Thursday. Yeah. The ratings for the first couple episodes weren't good, but we're at this point with TV where the ratings don't mean a damn thing anymore. I'm not watching it on Fox on Thursday night. I'm DVRing it. I'm watching whatever the hell I feel like it. When you throw those numbers in there, the DVR stuff, the fact that people watching stuff delayed, they're fine. It's making enough money. The Blu-ray DVDs sell. The show's not going anywhere until Bruce Wayne gets too old to be playing Bruce Wayne. Then he goes off and learns how to be Batman.
In his Midnighter outfit.
Yeah, in his Midnighter outfit. Yeah, the show ends the same way with Smallville. I need to go off and train with all the world's greatest this, that, and the others to become Batman. I need to go to Namba Parade. I need to go hang out with Ra's al Ghul. I need to go to all those spots. That's when the show will end.
I need to go learn magic tricks from Zatanna.
Or
Zentara.
I need to go learn magic tricks. And the show will really end when Ben McKenzie goes, I don't want to do this anymore. When Gordon says, I'm done, they're done.
Yeah.
Because David Mazouz says, if you're gonna do Robin, I want to play Robin.
Yeah.
Let him do
it. At the end of last year's season, the big reveal in like the last 45 seconds of the last episode.
Is it Butch?
Was it Butch? It's not really
Gildeen
Butch.
Is Cyrus Gold. He's Solomon Grundy.
When I heard that,
yeah.
I'm watching the thing. When I heard that, I said, oh my God, I don't believe it. And everybody looked at me and said, who the hell's that? It's Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy. and watch the show. I've always loved the guy playing Butch. The guy playing Butch is perfect.
Well, it's sort of a dumb character. I mean, he's had his hand cut off by the
penguin.
I know he had his head rewired and everything.
If you read the Daredevil books, the Kingpin's number one assistant before they killed him off was Wesley.
Oh, okay.
Well, Butch was basically Wesley for whoever the hell was the big deal there at that point.
Yeah. Now, the one bit of news that they came out with this week, our time,
Jerome's not the Joker.
Jerome's not the Joker. No, when he first showed up,
he inspired. Well, no, people assumed he was the Joker.
Well, when he first showed up,
yeah.
The first thing I thought was, this guy's not the Joker.
Yeah.
Okay, he might be many things, but he will not be the Joker.
He's the inspiration.
And then, as you get through a couple of seasons
his
with
face
him,
gets carved up. And you go, he could be the Joker.
It's like, well, maybe he is the Joker after all. Yeah. But now the producers have come out and said, no, he's not the Joker, and you never will be the Joker.
He's not the Joker. He's the inspiration for the Joker, who may or may not pop up. It's the same thing when people thought, oh my God, Barbara Keene got electrocuted. She's going to turn into Harley Quinn. And Bruce went, no, she's not.
As a matter of fact, the producer said there will not be a Harley Quinn.
No, there will be no Harley Quinn there at all.
In Gotham. So if you're waiting for Harley Quinn to show up, she ain't showing.
Yeah, and he also said, by the way, Fish Mooney, she's officially dead this time. She died twice. That's it. Twice is it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I thought she was dead the first time.
No. Well, yeah, but they said we can't keep bringing her back again because it gets to the point where, like, really?
Now, moving over to Marvel, let's start off with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, which premieres on December the 1st. They made that announcement.
It's late. It's coming in late.
Well,
relatively speaking.
It's coming in to replace the 8-episode run of Inhumans, which ends around that point.
And we'll get to Inhumans in a minute. Yeah. Okay. But it's not starting until December.
December the 1st is the official start date.
Now, we were talking about that the other day. The S.H.I.E.L.D. crew, at the end of last season, they wrapped up the storyline. They went to a diner.
They're having a nice meal.
They're having pie.
They're having pie
at the diner.
They assume they're being hunted down by the government, and the next thing you know, Coulson's in space. So what the hell happened?
Coulson's in space. Now, supposedly, what that is
the Kree took them.
The Kree took them. Now, how did the Kree take them?
We don't know that. We have no idea.
But you were talking about back in the second season.
They announced this because they had their big panel yesterday. They announced today that the Kree took them. They announced yesterday that the monolith that took Jenna to the alternative world.
Well, to the Kree moon or home.
Yeah.
Whichever it was.
The monolith will be popping up this year, and they also announced about 2 weeks ago, Nick Blood is coming back to the show. He's playing his character. He's Mockingbird's ex-husband. Mockingbird can't come back.
Hawkeye?
No. The agent was working on it. Mockingbird can't come back because she's on the Orville.
The Aussie.
Yeah, the Aussie guy.
The Aussie.
Yeah, he's coming back as a regular as well.
Okay.
Oh, and they said, are we going to see Grant Ward? You're not going to see Grant Ward. So.
Good. They ran that character right into the ground.
Yeah, because people were thinking framework. Is he going to bring it back?
People talk about there not being any decent villains in the Marvel universe outside of Loki and the Red Skull. Mm-hmm. And that's true. Most of Marvel villains suck. Or Kingpin now on Netflix. And David Tennant's Purple Man.
Yeah.
If you look at all the movies Marvel's done, they've done a buttload of movies, and they've only got 4 decent villains.
Yeah, the villains are kind of sort of
lame.
They're underwhelming.
They're very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Grant Ward, though, is one of the villains that people have put in there as being actually he was a pretty good villain. The problem with Grant Ward was they ran him into the ground on that show.
Yeah, he's great. He's a good guy. Then he's a bad guy. Then he's an even worse guy.
And then we brought him back as a good guy.
Yeah, then we brought him back as a good guy
for last season.
Yeah, for last season, but he wasn't the real Grant Ward. He was the framework Grant Ward.
Yes, the framework Grant Ward. Wasn't that called The Matrix once upon a time?
Yes, that would be called The Matrix. Yes, but yeah, and then also when we talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was this, there was a story that came out on Dark Horizons and a bunch of other places. Disney did not allow ABC to cancel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, well, that was a story that came out a couple of years ago that ratings had gotten to the point where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. looked like it was going to be canceled. Disney said, no, we'll just keep making it as long as we feel like it.
Yeah, we're going to keep making it.
We don't care about the ratings for the show.
We don't care about the ratings because it's making enough money, and we don't, and this is ABC. This is our home. You're going to be the home for all the shows. So we're going to leave the show alone. It does well enough. It does well enough to justify its expenses.
S.H.I.E.L.D. has been, over the last more or less 2 seasons, working on the Inhuman storyline.
Yes.
Of Terrigen and how it
Terrigen
affects
Mist and
how it affects humans and dumping it in the ocean.
Yes, so that a lot more people have been exposed to the Terrigen Mist because they've been eating fish.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with some of you are affected, you get powers, and some of you don't get powers. And the people who don't get powers, they either walk around as regular people or they turn into rock and they die.
Well, all of which has been leading up to the Inhumans,
the Inhuman show,
which finally broke. Now,
the 8th episode Inhumans thing.
Now let's do a little bit of history before we talk about the show. Inhumans was originally part of Phase 3.
Yes.
For Marvel, when the Phase 3 slate of movies was announced like 2 years ago.
And it might be part of Phase 4, but Marvel said we're not announcing what Phase 4 is till late next year.
I don't think it's going to be part of Phase 4. I think this is it. It was pulled out of the movie universe supposedly so they could put Homecoming in its place.
It was a slot.
And instead they decided to stick it in...
It was a spot because Marvel's got this big board in their offices which lays out the timeline and the release point of all of them, and they said we're going to take Inhumans off the slot and we're going to replace it with Homecoming because we worked out this deal with Sony so we can do Spider-Man.
Right. So instead they decided to plug it into TV. And the last 2 years of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been leading up to this. It has been getting everybody used to the Inhumans
because
and Terrigen.
Quake is in Inhumans.
And there's a refuge out there somewhere where they all go to. And
Attilan,
all that stuff. Okay, so and now finally we have the Inhumans. Yes. And they put this together. It's 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
Maximus the Mad has deposed Black Bolt because that's what he does.
Yeah.
And the royal
because he doesn't have powers and his brother does, and it kind of ticks him off.
And the royal family's on the run in, of all places, Hawaii.
Yeah, they're in Hawaii.
Which means,
why are they in Hawaii?
Well, McGarrett's there.
Well, and also it's easy. It's cheaper to shoot in Hawaii.
It's cheaper to shoot in Hawaii.
If you shoot in Hawaii, you can go with a bunch of different locations because it's Hawaii. You can have regular city areas. You can have areas in mountains. You've got areas in wildlife.
Well, what you could have also done is shot in Hawaii and said one character wound up in Africa.
Yeah.
And have the jungle double for Africa.
Yeah.
Or have another character say, "Oh, I landed in Australia." But instead, they all landed in Hawaii.
They all landed in Hawaii. You could simply say, "Well, they're here and there." And they said, "No, we're just going to shoot the whole damn thing in Hawaii."
Yeah. Okay. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll try not to give you too many spoilers, except obviously Maximus deposes the royal family.
Yes, Maximus.
If that's a spoiler to you, you really need to read the comics because that's all Maximus does.
That's his reason for existence.
That's it. Maximus is Loki without any powers and without any
and crazier.
Yeah. But all he does is try to depose. All Loki does is try to be king of Asgard.
Yeah, that's what.
All Maximus does is try to become.
That's why they picked Ramsay Bolton to play Maximus. They go, hell, he was on Game of Thrones. He's playing the same version of this character.
As I said to my daughter as we were watching this, and she goes, "Well, if he's part of the family, why does he hate his brother?" He says, "Well, he has another name. He's referred to as Maximus the Mad."
He's
which they haven't used yet.
Yeah,
but
he's part of the upper classes of humans, but he's also basically an alpha primitive.
Well, he's a human.
Yeah.
Well, what they set up in the thing is the Inhumans have a strict caste system, which they had in the comic. When you're of a certain age, you get bar mitzvahed, confirmed, whatever you want to call it.
The Terrigen Mist turn you into whatever you're going to turn into, and if you don't turn into someone with powers, well, then you're in the lower caste.
Some people get wonderful powers, and other people come out and go, "Oh, nothing happened." Guess what? You're human. Yeah. You get to dig in the mines.
Yeah, go over there and dig the Daxamite out of the mines.
And so you have a two caste system where you have the royal family and everybody who has been changed by the Terrigen Mist as the ruling class.
And
if you're humans, you live down in the
you work at McDonald's.
butthole.
Yeah, you work at McDonald's.
Part of
I work at the
Adelan,
really cool restaurant. You work at McDonald's.
digging
Ditches and stuff.
the lithium crystals or something out of the moonscape.
You're looking for more Terrigen crystals.
And that's your job. And that is the very first problem that I have with this series, is that they want you to buy into giving a damn about the royal family when they are imposing this system on their people.
It's a problem.
So you're supposed to root for the enslavers.
That's why.
Which I'm looking at that going, okay.
That's why in later comic incarnations of the Humans, they've kind of like downplayed that.
Well, but they addressed it.
Yeah, they've addressed it quite clearly, and they're going, yeah, what we did was really crappy.
They addressed it.
And we shouldn't have done it. We're trying to fix it.
But as of right now, in the TV series, Maximus takes over. Yeah. I don't see how you're supposed to feel really bad for the royal family, because they're dicks.
You know why? Because they got a dog who doesn't talk and can take you wherever you want to go.
Lockjaw is, of course, the breakout character on the Inhumans because he's a big sloppy dog.
He's a big dog.
That's the size of a rhino.
And he's
can
cheerful
take you anywhere.
He's cheerful. And you've got Anson Mount, who's a guy who's quite expressive. If you watch Hell on Wheels, he's quite expressive, playing a guy who can't talk. And they said Jeff Loeb went to him and said, "No, you can't talk, and you're never going to talk."
Yeah.
And he went, "Okay."
In the pilot, the cops jump on him and he grunts once, and when he grunts, you have a couple of squad cars flying through the air down the road.
Well, yeah, one of my Facebook friends, he said something I never thought about. He says, Black Bolt, if he talks, bad things happen. What happens if Black Bolt sneezes? And you go, I really thought about that. What if Black Bolt belches?
Well, that's easy. Black Bolt doesn't sneeze.
Hasn't sneezed yet.
As far as the series goes,
and you got around that too, where in the comics of Charles Soule, Black Bolt for a while could talk.
As far as the series goes, for the most part, it left me cold. It's a time killer. They've sucked most of the most fantastical Kirby elements right out of the thing and flushed them down the toilet. The characters barely look like they do in the comics. The very first thing they do is they shave Medusa's head, so they don't have to screw around with the wig or the CGI or any of that stuff, which is probably the hardest effect they have to do. So they took care of that right away. Yeah. Maximus shaves her head with basically a pair of barber trimmers.
Well, we never established whether her hair is impossible to cut, or she makes it longer.
Well, the fact that he goes to quick cuts and gets an electric razor and uses that, I'm looking at that and I go, really? We're living in a domed community on the moon, and we have all these powers, and we're using a Schick razor to shave her head off. Really?
I'm also assuming that she could probably, since I haven't watched the episode, I think she could probably grow her hair back anytime she felt like it.
She doesn't in the 2 episodes I saw. I mean, it's off, and it's like a huge tragedy that it's been shaved. Will her hair grow back? Well, of course it will.
Of course it will.
But Gorgon barely looks like Gorgon. Triton you get for the first 5 minutes, and then he's gone, and he barely looks like Triton. And Karnak is Karnak. He I can never pronounce him right. Karnak is actually the most interesting character, and he barely looks like Karnak too. I mean, all the most fantastical elements have been drained out of this thing, and after a while I look at it, which is the same problem I have with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It is just so boring and just so pedantic and just so drained of anything that's imaginative.
Well,
it's just a chore getting through.
What I've seen there, Karnak doesn't look like the original Karnak, but he looks a lot like the Warren Ellis version of Karnak.
Well, it was nice of them to change the way he looked 2 years before they actually started rolling on this thing, so that he'd be lined up with that version of him, as opposed to not doing anything.
Yeah, he looks like the Warren Ellis version of Karnak.
And Crystal looks like Crystal, and she was always the most normal looking one in the bunch.
Yeah, she was the normal daughter in the Monsters.
But my attitude towards Inhumans is the same as S.H.I.E.L.D. If it's on, I will watch it. I'm not sitting around waiting for the next episode. When it drops, it drops. When I see it, I see it.
Scott Buck's tenure as a showrunner, he did the last season of Dexter, which was not as well received as the first couple of seasons.
Well, he's probably going to be looking for a new job soon, because after Iron Fist and after this, and if the third season of or the last season of Dexter was not looked on all that kindly, he doesn't know his job.
Well, Scott Buck,
put him on Hawaii 5 or something. Scott it doesn't
Buck,
require a lot of work.
Will he be a showrunner for another series again? No, they've already replaced him on Iron Fist, so probably not. Will he be a consultant? Yeah, he'll probably get a consultant job, but he won't be a showrunner. And that would depend a lot on Netflix to begin with. Are they going to add more? And there's more ABC shows coming from.
Well, there's more shows coming. Runaways is coming to Hulu.
Well, Runaways is on Hulu. Damage Control's coming. Half-hour comedy. John Ridley is American Crime is working on some Marvel TV show, which Marvel and ABC is keeping mysterious as they won't tell us what it's about, but he's working on one, and that show comes up. Well, John Ridley will be the showrunner because he goes, I did American Crime, I don't need anybody's help.
Right.
Because the ABC people said, there's always going to be Marvel shows on our network.
The Runaways trailer looks great.
The Runaways trailer looks great.
Now,
and that's on Hulu. And you thought it would be on Netflix. It's on Hulu.
Runaways is all the children of
Of
villains.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming that they are not going to have actual Marvel villains, that they will probably have stand-ins for those villains. You've got one kid whose parent's a witch. You got another kid whose parent's an alien. You got another kid whose parent is a Lex Luthor level genius. You got another kid whose dad's electrical genius or something.
Well, yeah, James Masters is playing someone, and if you read Runaways, are they wearing costumes? No, they didn't wear costumes. They never wore costumes.
Yeah, but you knew
who
they were.
You knew who they were. One of the kids, I think, is a Zemo.
Yeah. I am betting that none of that will survive the translation, and they will just be the types that I mentioned, but they'll all have different names, or they'll have names out of the Marvel universe, but it won't be those characters.
And you're also
now the kids look exactly like they do in the book.
The kids
it's uncanny how much they look like them, but they don't have any costumes or anything.
No, they never wore costumes.
It's just the look.
And you've also got you got New Orders coming on Freeform, which used to be ABC Family.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have Night Thrasher and Squirrel Girl. Who'll be the breakout show of that? Because people think Squirrel Girl's cool. I think she's kind of pointless.
It depends on how they handle her.
It depends on how they handle her. Well, she's going to be goofy. Squirrel Girl is by nature goofy.
Again, it depends on how they handle her.
But yeah, it's a whole. The stuff's all over the place.
Getting away from comics, I want to talk about two things, neither one of which you've seen, both of which I've seen. I've seen a lot of one of them. Two science fiction shows have dropped in the last couple of weeks. The Orville over on Fox and Star Trek Discovery over on CBS All Access.
Yeah.
The first episode ran on CBS proper, and as I'm sure most people are aware by this point, if you DVR'd it, I hope to God that you DVR'd the show after it because the basketball game interrupted it.
Yeah.
So you get to a certain point and you're done. We DVR'd the two shows to make sure we got it, and we got the whole thing. So I watched that, and I've seen the first 4, I think, episodes of the Orville. Okay. It tries really hard to be Star Trek. I mean, it really wants to be Star Trek in the worst way. My big problem with it is Seth MacFarlane needs to get the hell off of camera.
But that's his show.
I understand that's his show.
He's not going anywhere.
Seth MacFarlane really wants to be in and do Star Trek. Seth MacFarlane's problem is he's batting on the wrong team. The team he's on right now makes him a whole bunch of money on Family Guy, but that's not the team that has Star Trek. Yeah. Okay, the team that has Star Trek would probably love to have him take over because I don't think they know what the hell they're doing over there. But they'd probably love to have him.
Hell, Quentin Tarantino announced this week, I do a Star Trek movie. They asked me.
They'd love to have him, but they can't because he's working at Fox.
Yeah, he's working at Fox. He's got to deal with Fox.
So he is over at Fox doing his own version of Star Trek. Yes. And for those of you who don't know, the setup for the Orville is Seth MacFarlane plays the captain, who is basically he's not a goof off. He's gone through a bad patch because his wife, the former Mockingbird from S.H.I.E.L.D., had an affair, and he goes into a slide after that. And the reason she had the affair because he wasn't paying enough attention to her at home. He wasn't paying enough attention to her home because he was busy working his way through their version of Starfleet. And so he catches her in the affair. They get a divorce. His life slides for a year. And we begin the first episode with him getting the Orville. His admiral tells him, look, we got 4,000 ships and like 300 captains. That's why you're getting a ship. Yeah. Not because you're ready for it, and not because there's anything exemplary about you. We got to fill the slot. We need captains.
Yeah, we got to fill the slot.
So he gets this ship, and I swear to God, it's one potty joke after another.
Welcome to the world of Scotland.
I understand that. I'm a Family Guy fan. I've been watching Family Guy since the very beginning. Since the first couple of years, then the cancellation, then the return.
Yeah, he also makes American Dad. So.
Yeah, he also makes American Dad, which sucks. But the big problem with Orville is Seth MacFarlane really wants to do Star Trek. He really can't do Sar Trek, so he's doing his version of Star Trek, which steals stuff from Star Trek left and right, and not because for a minute I think that Seth MacFarlane is creatively bankrupt. No, it's because he really wants to do this stuff in Star Trek, and so he's stealing this stuff so he can do it in his Star Trek. And the stories I've seen so far are the one crew member, he's a male of the race. His partner and him have a baby. The baby turns out to be female. There are no females on this planet or in this gene pool. But every once in a while, when there's a genetic freak and a female gets born, they basically give him a bar mitzvah and slice it all off and make a female out of him. And of course, the whole upshoot of that episode is this something that you should be doing to a baby, reassigning a baby's sex? Is it morally right to do this? Well, this alien race says it is. Fortunately, on the Orville, they have no prime directive, so they can go in there and meddle as much as they want, but they're still working out that same moral problem. They found another one where they find this big derelict spaceship. What's his face winds up being the captain. Liam Neeson is the captain of the ship. Now he's only in the episode for all 5 minutes, and he's on a monitor screen.
It's because he did the Western pastiche.
He's been dead for like 1,000 years, but the whole bridge crew has died. The ship is on autopilot. It's flying through space, and the people who were originally on there have long since forgotten, that they're on a spaceship, that they're in space. They think that that's their world, which has been done to death on Star Trek, going all the way back to the original series. And it's a repressive religious regime, and he's doing a whole thing about human rights versus, should we blindly follow this leader and his belief in God, and where does that balance out at? And should we interfere? And of course we should interfere because there's no prime directive on the show. So the point I'm trying to get at is I've watched this with my daughter. She likes it. And as I'm watching it, I'm liking it more, but the potty jokes I just can't get past.
But that's
it's Seth MacFarlane. I understand that, but I don't need Star Trek and potty jokes. Potty jokes are not the problem with Star Trek. He's not fixing anything with that.
Every year I go to the futoncritic.com. Every year I basically, and I've been doing this, and now I do it by rote. I go through all of the network's pilots for the year, and I basically come up with a list, and I cut it down just for my own personal use. And I saw the lineup for the Orville, and I went, as soon as I read that, I saw the premise, and I went, I don't care. And so I decided before the season's over with, I'm not watching this, I'm not watching this, I'm not watching this. And the Orville, I read the premise, and I went, I don't care.
That's the Orville. Like I said, I've seen the first 4 or 5 episodes of the Orville. I've only seen the first episode of Discovery because I haven't popped for CBS All Access yet. And I've known about this for 2 years.
Yes.
And I still haven't popped for it
they
yet.
Want you to just watch the rest of this. It's like, you release it on video? Yeah, well then why should I?
I just can't bring myself to get CBS All Access. Now,
not for one damn show, no.
As far as the pilot goes, my bitches with it are most of the bitches that I've heard. Yeah, it's yet another version of the Klingons. Why do we need another version of the Klingons? Well, because the other ones were lacking in something, I guess. I don't know what. But we've got a new version of the Klingons. The ships and the special effects all look like the JJ universe, not the Star Trek universe that we've known up to Enterprise. That all looks different. And one of the biggest problems I had, which supposedly takes care of itself, one of the members of the bridge crew is just annoying as hell. Okay, he comes from a race. He explains it. He explains that thing. Okay, it's either hunter or prey. Humans have a food chain. Okay, we're at the top of the food chain, and dogs are below us, and mice are below dogs, and below mice are bugs, and so forth. But we're at the top. In their food chain, you're either predator or prey. That's it. And he's in the prey caste, so he is always sensing death. And whenever he senses death, he's the cowardly lion. Literally, the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz.
We're gonna die.
We're gonna die. We need to get the hell out of here.
We're gonna die.
I do believe in spooks. I do. I have no problem with a race like that being in the Star Trek universe. I have no problem with a race like that being the United Federation of Planets. I have no problem with a race like that being on the ship.
So
why the hell is he in the bridge crew?
Yeah. Because he's gonna want to run every time they run it.
Yeah. Why the hell is this guy in the bridge crew? Why isn't he below decks? That I can see them getting that far, but just because of the way the race is, I can't see them getting on the bridge crew. But there he is. So I don't know. I thought that was annoying as hell. As far as the actors go, I had no problem with the casting. I had no problem with the actors the way I saw them. Yeah, there's glitches in the technology. I mean, this supposedly takes place 10 years before the original series, and when they're getting a message in from Starfleet, they push a button on the table, and a 3D hologram of whoever's communicating with them which is interactive, shows up in the room and starts talking to all of them. And this takes place 10 years before the original series. Well, what happened to that technology? We've never seen that before.
Stop using it.
We've never seen that in any version of Star Trek.
Stop using it.
But they've got it in this. But when everything is said and done, I just can't spring for CBS All Access yet.
If it's only for one show, I can't see it.
Well, you know, the problem with television right now is you're going through the balkanization of television. After World War II, you had a bunch of small countries which became Yugoslavia. You had Serbia, you had Bosnia and Herzegovina, you had Montenegro, you had a couple other small countries. There were all these little countries that made up what became Yugoslavia. They became Yugoslavia because the Soviets said, yeah, this is bullshit. Make one country out of it. Much easier. It's much easier to...
We can't figure out who to talk to.
No, it's much easier to rule these people when they're under one flag than it is under six flags.
I can't hit you, and you, and then all of a sudden, who are you guys?
And as soon as the Iron Curtain fell, they all broke back up to what they were pre-war. And that's what you're having with television right now. You've got CBS, ABC, NBC, then Fox, then you have all these cable channels, then you have HBO, then you have this, and you have that.
Showtime,
and what is
sci-fi,
okay, and then, but what it's breaking down to is Hulu, Netflix, BritBox, CBS All Access, Warner Archives, which has got nothing on it worth looking at.
No, it's all older crap.
Really older crap.
Yeah, really old stuff. You don't like.
I don't mean like classic older crap. I mean just crap.
Well, it's stuff Warner's owns.
Yeah, all your television screen is breaking down into all these different component parts for which you're going to pay $10 to $12 a pop for. WWE Network, for which you're going to pay $10 to $12 a pop for it. Okay, and at some point you're going to get rid of your cable. You're going to get rid of your satellite dish, and instead of paying DirecTV or Cox Cable or whoever cable, $90 to $100 a month, you're going to be paying it to 9 to 10 different outlets for this stuff.
Yeah, man, I've got Comcast, so I get Netflix for $10 extra, so I can watch Netflix because I have Comcast.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I want to watch Hulu, well, at some point Hulu will be end up on Comcast, and everyone else will be end up on Comcast.
That's going to wrap this up. We got to get to the next part of the show because we're running a little bit long.
What?
And I'm going to get right to this. Bo.
Yes.
It's time for your Rorschach test.
Jeez.
I'm going to give you one word. You tell me the first word that comes to your mind
Nachos?
when you hear this word.
Okay.
Hulu.
Nothing. I don't have Hulu.
Nothing?
It's another streaming service. It's where if I want to watch the Runaways, I'll have to.
You watched Hulu. You watched Hulu.
Yeah, I've watched Hulu over here. Yeah, I've watched Hulu over here.
Yeah, and at the store.
Yeah. So, but it's just another streaming service. Hulu sends me an email every week or two saying, you get a free month of Hulu. So I could, if I wanted Hulu, I could watch Hulu on my computer the same way I watch Amazon Prime. I can watch all the Amazon Prime shows on my computer, and if I want to transfer the thing on the TV that's downstairs, I can watch it on there. But I get Hulu emails about the same frequency as I get the WWE. You're eligible for a free month of the network. It's like okay, you want your free month of Hulu? I'm like, I had Hulu on my computer already. It's still there, but you want me to add to the stuff that I want to be paying for?
Yeah.
I don't care enough about Hulu to do that.
For me, the first thing I thought of when I thought of Hulu was Satisfied up until about a month ago.
Oh, you don't like the visual.
They screwed up their presentation. They basically fixed something that didn't need to be fixed.
Everyone does that.
Yeah, but you know what? If you have Hulu, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have Netflix, it's essentially the same thing. You go on the main screen. You get on the main screen, and it's one long row of rectangles with all your little shows on there.
Yeah.
And you scroll across. And you find your shows.
And Netflix goes, you like this, you probably like this. You like this, you probably like that.
But it's an easy visual
Who's
thing.
watching Netflix?
It's an easy visual scroll through. To find this stuff. You go up or down, left or right.
Yeah.
What Hulu has done is they've taken that and they've slapped that little rectangle full screen up in the corner. This is the name of this show. And what you would push to scroll to the next one, it just changes your full screen to the next one, to the next one. To the next one. And what they've done is they've taken away your ability to see, well, there's 3 boxes across and 9 boxes down that I can see just by glancing at it. And I can't do that anymore. I can just look at one big image, which sucks because it takes 3 times longer to find stuff than it used to. And you know what? I don't care quite that much about Hulu. So now I'm at the point where I'm thinking, should I get rid of Hulu or should I keep it?
But you might want to watch Runaways, so you gotta have to keep Hulu.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And I was talking before about the balkanization of TV. That's coming to Disney too.
Yeah.
Disney's going to pull everything they have and start their own all-access service. Not only will you have the Disney catalog, you'll have the Marvel catalog,
You'll have the
Pixar catalog,
Disney catalog,
and
TV
you'll have the Netflix catalog of Marvel shows.
No, the Marvel.
Well, at some point when that contract ends.
No, they've already made that quite clear. That contract, the way that contract is set up, it's not going to end.
Well, it's not going to go on forever.
It's going to because they make a certain amount of money for it, and it's actually easier for them to have Netflix do it because Netflix is more than willing to spend more for these episodes than Disney may want to. Netflix talked about some episodes. They said some episodes of shows haven't gotten it yet. Some of the episodes of the shows on Netflix they're allowed to have a budget of $20 million. Disney's not going to do that.
You should put more money into the writers than the special effects.
But they're saying no. They said effects and the fact you're going to make a show. The final end of the Game of Thrones things, HBO announced it last week. Those episodes are going to cost 16 to 17 million a piece.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be expensive as hell. Now the Disney thing leaving, okay, you're going to have all the Disney stuff, and it's a lot of contact. It's a lot of content. It's a lot of stuff you've got.
The magic of Disney.
The magic of Disney. You're going to have all the Pixar stuff. You're going to have all the Marvel movie stuff. You're going to have
Star
a lot.
Wars.
You're going to have all the Star Wars stuff, and it's going to be a lot. But business executives have already looked at this. In order for them to break even, they're going to have to average 32 million subscribers a year.
Yeah.
It took Netflix a long time to get to the 50 to 51 million they're at now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long road before they get to that number. So the first couple of years, that's not going to make a lot of money. They're not going to break even for a while. It takes a while to get to 32 million. Hulu's got like 6, 7 million. Amazon's got like 8, 9, 10 million. Netflix has 50. It took Netflix like 10 years to get to that point.
Right.
This network, it makes sense because it's all compartmentalized. This network for the first couple of years, it's going to be a loss leader.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Disney's aware of the fact it's going to be a loss leader. They're also aware of the fact that, well, if I want to watch a Marvel movie that I don't actually have in my own possession, well, I got to get the Disney network.
Yeah.
And it'll be $10 a month, $10 to $12 a month, and that'll be it.
As I said, the balkanization of TV. Everything's breaking down into its own.
Well, when you and I grew up, what did we have? We had 2, 5, and 7. Okay.
And 11.
No. 2, 5, and 7 for original programming. 9 had nothing original. 11 had nothing original. You couldn't see 32 most of the time unless you wanted to move your damn antenna.
And 44.
And then nobody watched 44.
And 26 for stock market.
And 26 for stock market. And then all of a sudden you added 50. The UPN network and then adding. But when we were growing up, we had like 5 options. That was it.
Yeah.
Now you can watch the crap on your phones and your computers. I can watch an episode of Netflix on my phone. I wouldn't. I could.
I've got DirecTV, and I swear to God, the only reason I keep DirecTV anymore is to get the local channels.
Yeah.
And I've got antenna. I literally have an antenna on my roof, and I could get the local channels if I wanted to buy another converter box to do it. And the only reason I haven't is because of convenience. I just don't want to go out and get the box and wire into the antenna on the roof. But I could do it. It's not that hard. I've got the TV upstairs is wired into a converter box, and I can I watch 2, 5, 7, 9.
They've got multiple versions of their stuff.
Well, 2.2 is oh God, I can't think of what it is. I watch it all the time. 2.2 is something. Cozy is on 5.2. Something called Laugh is on 7.2. Yeah. Antenna TV is 9.2. 9.3 is movies. Yeah. Crappy movies from the 80s and 90s. Although they do run some older stuff on there.
Yeah, the video package.
Crappy movies. And 11's got 11.2's Prime, and so on. A lot of this stuff exists. None of those that I mentioned, by the way, Decades is what's 2.2. I just thought of Decades. None of that though is on my DirecTV.
No,
none of that.
No,
it should be.
Yeah, it should be because, like I said, I got my new Comcast set box when my it's an HD box even though the TV is not hooked up for HD. So, and I've got the little cool remote thing where I can hit the remote and go 59 if I want to watch MSNBC. Okay, when it comes up, I'm not getting 59.
Yeah,
I'm getting the HD version of the channel.
But you know what? That's it. We're done.
We're
finished. Oh, we're running so late on this. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. We have no more time to bitch about TV.
No time about crime?
Yeah, so we have no more time for crime.
Damn Big Ben.
Let me remind you, though, the Alternate Reality, the podcast you're listening to, is coming to you via Alternate Reality. Yes. Best little comic book store in the city of Chicago. Located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood, alternate reality, where all your new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. New Comic Wednesday starts at 7 a.m. 40% off our 2 books of the week. One
God
kid's
bless
book,
you people who get up at 7 in the morning.
1 kid's book, 1 mainstream book, 40% off. All the first issues are always 25% off on New Comic Book Day, all the new first issues. Stop on down. Been doing it for 23 years. Until then, Bo.
So long, kids.
So long, kids. And this is Comic Book Man saying, thanks for listening. Bye.